Thank you for joining us today for this intermediate level mat class. This is a class for those of you who have been doing the fundamental work for a while and are ready to start advancing your repertoire. Alicia is here joining us in the class today. We are going to focus on core, full body. We've got all your muscles, all your joints moving in a full range of motion, but especially emphasizing the core. So this will also be fantastic if you've been experiencing any back pain, want to alleviate, get some better posture. You'll feel totally transformed in your body by the end of the session. So let's start with a roll down. We'll have you bring your feet just hip width apart, right underneath you. Lift up nice and long through your spine and let your arms rest by your sides. The roll down is a great tool for you to assess where your body is at the beginning of a session. We'll take a big breath in. As you exhale, slowly nod your chin forward towards your chest. We'll start to peel through your upper back, through your mid back. As you get to your lower back, soften your knees. It's going to help give you a little more release. Inhaling at the bottom. Exhale, pull your abs up to help initiate that roll back to standing. Inhale again. And then exhale. Roll down is a great tool for you to use as also a body assessment. So you can see where your body is feeling tight as you're starting this session. We'll do it at the end, and you can feel how your body's transformed. Good, and let's take just one more. Exhale, rolling down. Also serves as a nice preparation for your body to start your workout. So even in the movement, we're finding some energy in your body, your muscles, rolling back up. At the top, allowing your shoulders to open, chest nice and tall. You're ready to go to the mat. So have a seat on your mat. And we'll lay down onto your back, bend your knees, and we'll start with a pelvic curl. This exercise is such a nice one to begin your sessions with because it allows your back to release so that when we get into your abdominal work, your back isn't going to be fighting you. So important we start in good alignment. What this looks like is that your pelvis is nice and neutral. Think about your hip bones and your pubic bone all being the same height off of the floor. And if you go into that position, you might feel there's just a natural curve in your back. That's totally okay. We'll start with a big breath in here. And as we exhale, drawing in the abdominals, starting to lift your tailbone up and coming into a nice straight line. We don't want to go too high where you feel your back working. So still think abdominals are working, but the back is stretching. Go ahead and come back down and come back to your neutral. Inhale. Exhale, drawing in the abs, lifting from the back of your legs. You're aiming for knees, hips, shoulders in a nice straight diagonal. And coming down. Feet should be nice and firm on the floor. If you feel your feet rolling to the outside edges, you're probably also going to be losing your inner thighs. Squeeze those inner thighs so your feet are just like a fist distance apart. Knees fist distance apart. It's going to make this exercise much more profound, both in core and in leg work. And exhale. We should start to feel like we're getting a little bit longer every time we roll down. Don't be afraid to use the backs of your arms, your shoulders to stay pressing into the mat. This looks beautiful. We'll do one more. And drawing in, rolling up. Inhale. And exhale. Roll yourself back down and come to neutral. Let's also do something to get your back rotating. So you take your arms out to a T position. You'll want your palms to face up towards the ceiling, which will open your shoulders and your chest a little better for a stretch. Take one leg up to tabletop. Breathe in so you can exhale, firm up your abs to pick your second leg up. We always want to protect your back. In your tabletop position, 90 degrees. Knees right over your hips. Shins are parallel to the floor. Make sure you're paying attention to that angle on your own body. And we'll lower your legs to one side. And pull back center. Lower your legs to the other side. We're lifting one hip off the mat and pulling it back. This half of your pelvis tipping. And exhale, pulling back center and to the other side. and pulling back center. What Belisi's doing so well, I want you to think about is your legs staying glued together. It's like you have one leg. You don't want your knees shifting on each other, especially as you're in the twist. And come back center. The main focus should be your obliques. Don't make it too large. And think of widening through your abs to pull back center. You're pulling your rib cage down and try to press your ribs back down towards the mat to come center. And I'll show you what it looks like if you go too far so you can feel it in your own body. If you take your legs a little too far, it's going to create a big arch in your back and maybe you'll lift that shoulder blade up. So take your range much smaller. Don't worry about stretching right now. I promise you'll get a stretch later in the session. Now is the time to start building some more body heat, getting your muscles working. Take it towards me. Awesome. One more to each side. Inhale. And back to center. Exhale. And inhale towards me. And exhale, center. Set one foot down. Set the other foot down. Let's interlace your hands behind your head. Bring the heels of your hands right at the base of your skull. So you're actually supporting your head, not pulling on your neck. We'll lay your body down to start. And pull your feet in just a little closer and a little further apart. Here, again, we'll watch the ribs are not flaring. Take a big breath in. Exhale for the chest lift. Lift your head, neck, and chest up. And at the top, eyes to thighs, take a big inhale. And exhale, lower down. And you want to maintain that nice neutral position in your back. Exhale here, the upper back comes forward. We're not really changing a lot in the lower. And lower down. This is targeting the top layer of your abdominals, your six-pack layer. And it's working a lot of stability work for your pelvis too. Exhale up. Let's inhale. See if you can lift a little higher. Exhale, lower down. Breathing in. Breathing out, come up. Inhale, pause. Exhale, lower. And again. So it's a 2-breath cycle. We lift, feeling the ribs drawing towards your hips. And lowering down. What I love Lisa's doing is as you're at the top, you take that exhale up. Keep your abdominals pulling down as you breathe in. Maybe you need to breathe a little wider through your ribs to get that full inhale. She's going to stay up on this last one. Breathing in. As she exhales, let's rotate your chest one side. Inhale, lift center. Exhale, rotate away. And lift. Exhale, rotate. And lift. And other side twist. And center. You're trying to keep prioritizing your flexion, that chest lift position. And so that we don't start to lose one side. I love how Bruce is keeping waistbands the same length so it doesn't turn into a side bend, but true rotation. Her gaze is perfect. Think of looking just past your thigh. And center. And just past your thigh. And center. And keeping your head relaxed in your hands so that your neck is staying out of it. And twist. Lift. One more to each side. And center. Lift a little higher. Lower yourself down. And take that moment. We're going to give that layer of your abdominals a break. Let your arms come by your sides. We'll still do more stability work, so kind of a deeper layer of your core. Take one leg up to tabletop. And now have you pull in just a little past 90 degrees in your hip joint. So maybe that 80-degree mark is going to give you a little more hip flexor work. We'll tap your leg down. Inhale. Exhale, lift up. And again, inhale. Exhale, lift. And tap. And lift. Really focusing on your lower back. If you feel any pressure changing, you're probably losing a little bit of your core. So we want to keep it nice and still. This exercise is a great preparation for a lot of things where you have to move your legs without your whole trunk following the position. So keeping it a little disassociated. Tap and lift. Let's set this foot down. And bring your other leg up to that same position. And inhale, tap down. Exhale, lift and tap and lift. Nice preparation work. Inner thighs can really hug your midline, so your legs almost feel like they're sliding along a pane of glass. And lift. If you want to make it a little more challenging, lighten the pressure under your supporting foot, almost like you were thinking about lifting it, which is going to lead us into our next exercise leg changes. Let's do 2 and up, and last one. At the top, take a big breath in. Exhale, slice your legs and change. We'll go switch and switch, switch and. Perfect. Really close with the inner thighs. And you're keeping the knee angle the same. And change, and change, and change. Check back in with the back. Have you lost it? You should still have that natural curve in your low back so you're not smashing it down into your mat. But we're certainly not going the other direction and arching. And now let's just change 3 and switch and 2 and switch and 1 and switch. Bring both legs up. Squeeze your legs together. Find that perfect 90-degree mark again. So if we were on the last one a little deeper, readjust your thighs over your hips. Float your arms up overhead. Palms will face up towards the ceiling. And you can lower your arms overhead as far as you don't start to flare in your ribs. If you go too far and your ribs start to pull away from the mat, that might happen if you have tight shoulders or a really tight back. So let's plant the back of your ribs down. Good. Really feeling that nice reach with your palms up, and we're ready for the 100 prep. Inhale, arms, head, neck, chest, follow, lift up. Beautiful positions here. Arms will lift up, and then head, neck, chest, lower out. Again, exhale, press and curl. Reach your fingertips towards the edge of the mat. And arms, head, neck, chest, lower. Exhale, pull up. And lift. And lower. This exercise, like you're moving through gel, give yourself a little resistance. And as your arms float up, keep your eyes looking right at your thighs, then lower down. It's going to give you a moment to feel your upper abs working deeper. Good. And try not to drop that chest, and then lower. Exhale, press and curl up. Inhale, arms, head, neck, chest, lower. And let's go 2 more. If you feel your knees starting to float away from you, it might be telling you your back is trying to help. So keep making sure you readjust as needed. And last one. And lift and lower for the 100. Take a big breath in. Add in the legs, arms, head, neck, chest, and legs extend. Boom. You hit that shape. Take an inhale here. Pump your arms in. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. And inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. And exhale. 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 Inhale. One more breath out. And in. Hold that pump with your arms. Pull your knees in like you're dragging them through that gel. Lift your arms up and lower down. Nice work. You can set your feet down. Just stretch your body out. Let your abdominals lengthen. That exercise is nice because the 100 prep, you're coming in and out of contraction and lengthening, but the 100, you're holding. So it's a little more about endurance in your muscles. Let's go ahead and go into your roll up. From here, you'll flip your palms to face each other. This is going to put your shoulder in external rotation, which is going to get you out of that forward rounded position we spend a lot of our days in. You want your legs zipped together, feet nice and pointed, And again, watch the ribs. If they are floating up even just a little, start with your arms hovering off the floor. You'll be in a better alignment. We'll start with the arms like we practiced. Arms, head, neck, chest, lift, pause. This position, we just found it, so nothing has to change. Just pivot that position forward and stay nice and rounded at the top. Think a little more of that lower back rounding and a little bit less that upper back. Inhale and exhale, roll down. Our first one after the 100, brutal. So we'll give ourselves a couple. You might be feeling that this first few a little bit more difficult to keep you round. That's it. Nice. I love the shoulder blades are drawing back. Head should be higher than your shape. So try not to bury your head and your arms at the top. And inhale. And even here, the head's already in such a nice shape. You can just let it continue as you roll forward. Eyes may be looking just down towards your knees. And inhale. Exhale, roll down. And lower. And again. If your feet are flying up, it wouldn't be wrong to bend your knees. Just soften. It'll help your back around just a little. It's usually when our feet fly up, our hip flexors are trying to substitute out the work for your abs, which is common in the roll up because your hip flexors absolutely have to work, but it's just a matter of when. So we want this first part, pause at the chest lift. Here, you should feel the upper abs. As we roll up, lower abs and hip flexors. That looks nice. Just find your C curve. You're starting to connect in with it at home. It's going to come back several times. And let's do one more, lifting up. Exhale, rolling up. Trying to keep our shoulders and head out of that position. Let's go into a little roll like a ball from here. So bend your knees. You'll grab on top of your shins as low as you can, maybe even to your ankles if you can pull in a little tighter. And then just rock slightly off the back side of your sits bone so you can float your feet off of the mat. We also want to be in this nice rounded position. So eyes maybe not quite that far, there. Looking down, you feel the stretch in your low back, very important. And how you get that deeper is think of pulling in your abdominals. She's in a good position. Make sure you have some control with your arms. So I would grab your hands there. So you can use a little bit more biceps. And let's inhale to roll back. Exhale to roll up. And squeeze our inner thighs. Nice. Inhale, roll back. Exhale, hover, hover, hover. So that one, very nice. Inhale. Exhale, up. Each time she's getting better, she's finding that ability to keep the round position in the back. So tempting to flatten either the bottom, which then you won't get back up, or flatten at the top. And let's go in, exhale. Just rolling to your shoulders. We don't want to put pressure on your neck just for safety. And then we're really striving to keep the distance between your heels and your glutes the same throughout the movement. Your thighs, your chest, that same distance throughout. Let's do 2. Good, good, good. And last one. Rolling up, 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 up. And let's flatten up your back. Send your legs out in front of you. Flex your feet and take them to the outsides of your shoulders. So this will be just maybe outer hip, outer shoulder width apart, toes pointing straight up to the ceiling. Lift up nice and straight in your back. Let's take your arms forward. Inhale, this is the spine stretch. So we can let your chin nod down toward your chest slightly. Maybe not there. Once the head's done, start to move through your upper back. Like you're peeling off a wall, your mid back, your lower back. Reaching out, get that nice stretch, inhale, and exhale, roll up. And don't overshoot for you, come a little forward, and there. And is the last to finish. Inhale, exhale, rolling down. And once you get the head, don't let it continue. So your head should be higher than your arms the whole time. And those arms are just reaching down, keeping closer to a 90 degree in the shoulder. And lifting up, good. Inhale. Exhale, like you're peeling off a wall. Right there, relax the shoulders. Good, and continue through your low back. Inhale. Exhale up. And a couple more, just letting our back release. Good. Love where the head's at, don't let it move. You feel that nice stretch. It's also a fantastic hamstring stretch for the back of your legs. And lift up, last one. Exhale, putting it all together. It just feels almost like a little waterfall floating. Where the back is the water floating over the rocks. And stacking back to the top. And let's bring your legs back together. Bend your knees again. And just take a little roll down. So you can keep your arms straight out and start to round that lower back. Set your sacrum down. We'll go nice and controlled. Set that mid back down. And keep your shoulder blades up. Take one leg to tabletop. Take the other leg to tabletop. Grab on top of your knees. We're in a great position for the double leg stretch. So use your arms. Biceps are really going to work on this, and you can bend to help pull your chest closer to your legs. I love thinking that versus knees closer to the chest. If she pulls her knees too close, it's going to drop her chest down. Again, maybe that 80-degree mark in the hips. From here, she's going to hit her position, send her arms and legs out overhead. Exhale, control, circling around to pull back in. Inhale, she'll hit. Exhale, she'll circle. You're working very hard not to drop in your chest. And inhale, reach. Exhale, circle. Inhale, she takes her arms as far and as close together as her shoulder flexibility allows. And circle in. If you go too far, you'll drop your chest or you'll elevate your shoulders. You'll lift your shoulders up. And circle. And let's do 2. And pull a little deeper. Last one, work harder. And pull it in. Rest your head. Woo. Set it down just for a moment. We'll do one more abdominal work. And let's take it right back up. Quicker resting when we want to be working a little more of that endurance. So we'll grab on top one more time. But this time, the opposite hand to knee. So her left hand will grab her right knee. You'll take your same arm as leg that's bent on top and stretch your other leg out. So we're in a beautiful position for single leg stretch. Inhale. Exhale, change your hands, change your feet. And change your hands, change your feet. And change your hands, change your feet. Notice this line. I've got my forearm here so you can see. Imagine your toes on a conveyor belt. And what I love is that the knees not coming too close to her chest again to knock her down, but also the shin staying parallel to the ground. And that gives you something you can pull against when there's a little resistance in your shin. And as you get tired, watch the head doesn't come forward. Bring it back a little. That's better. One more each side. Actually, let's even out. End on the side you didn't start on. Bend both knees in. Rest your head down. We'll keep one leg at tabletop. Set the other leg down. Straighten it out. And from here, stretch your top leg up towards the ceiling. For everyone, even if you're not that flexible in your hamstrings, keep your knee right over your hip and just straighten as far as you can from there. We'll flex your foot at the top. And from here, you're in a position for leg circles. So cross your midline first and draw a circle down, around, catch at the top. Cross, drop, catch. Inhale, drop, catch. Exhale, drop and catch. In, drop and catch. Out. drop, and catch. You're looking for your pelvis stay nice and still, not rocking side to side, not arching your back at the bottom of the circle. Let's reverse it. Open and a circle, open and a circle. Again, inhale and exhale and breathe in. If you are you're losing your stability, you can feel it. Doesn't matter how big your circle is. Keep it a little smaller. We'll go one more inhale, one more exhale. At the top, let's hold. Point your foot, grab on for a hamstring stretch. So we'll let this other side stay nice and anchored on the mat, but if giving the side you just worked a really good stretch here. You can check that you're not hiking your hip up towards your shoulder. You're staying long on that side that you're stretching. If you want to enhance it a little, you can take a few ankle circles here, which also can just maybe find slightly different angles. Good. Let's externally rotate your leg. So you'll angle your knee and your foot towards the same shoulder and gently pull your leg to that side. You can use your arm as like a little kickstand for support. We're trying to keep wide through this supporting hip. So again, we're not twisting our trunk. But this will get a little more your inner hamstring and your inner thighs. And we'll come back center. And now we'll do just the opposite. Rotate your knee so it's angling towards your opposite shoulder. Pull it across. This one usually for a lot of us can feel tighter, but it's going to get a little more of the outside hamstring. Sometimes we think of our hamstrings as like one clump, one group that work all together, but getting a stretch for some different angles, so each hamstring, you have 3 of them, they can each have an independent stretch. It can help them function a little more how they're designed to. We'll come back center, see if you got a little closer than before. Wow, much closer. Bend this knee and set your foot down on the floor and just send it out straight. Take a moment for yourself. Feel the difference between your 2 sides. Sometimes one leg feels longer. And let's do the other side. We'll bend your other leg up. Extend it up towards the ceiling. Flex your foot. And we'll take our leg circles first, and then we'll come into that stretch. We'll cross your midline. Inhale, drop, swing. Exhale, drop, swing. And inhale, circle. And exhale, circle. And inhale. And exhale. And in. And out. We've got just one more breath cycle. Breathe in. And circle, breathe out, and circle. At the top, we'll reverse. Inhale, and circle. Exhale, and circle. This is just like our early preparations in class. We're trying to keep your leg moving without anything else having to adapt. So you're not compensating in your back, the muscles in your pelvis. Just nice freedom of your hip joint. And let's go around, and one more. And catch it up at the top. That was both directions, yes. Point your foot. Let's give your hamstring a nice stretch. Grab on behind, and just allow your leg to relax. Your muscles will stretch so much more effectively when you just focus on breathing. If there's a lot of tension, you pull it in so tight that your leg starts to shake. Maybe ease back a little so your muscles can just lengthen. Let's rotate your knee, your foot towards the same shoulder, and open your leg to the side, giving yourself a little more inner thigh stretch, keeping your other leg very parallel, anchored for you. And center. Now internally rotate your legs so you're angling your knee, your foot towards the opposite shoulder, pull it across. You get that more of that IT band side of your leg, outer hamstrings. This is also one that's so tempting to hike your hip up to your shoulder, so still stay long on the side with the leg you're lifting. Come back center. Notice if you can get a little closer now. I love it. Let's come up. One more round for your abdominals. Bend your other knee. Bring that leg to tabletop and stretch it up. Both legs reaching up towards the sky. We feel nice and long. Let's grab behind your calves and lift your chest. You want your hands pointing upward, your fingers towards your heels, because that's going to, again, avoid a rounded forward shoulder position. So opening your shoulders and keep the right leg up, left leg to the ground. We'll pull the top leg a little closer, switch legs, and pull one, a little closer, switch. The opposite leg grounds. So anchor it to the mat. Even if you have to bend your knee, if your hip flexors are tight, get that knee a little bent so you can still anchor. Boom, a little closer, switch, and boom, a little closer, switch. And pull, a little closer, and pull, a little closer, good. Pull, a little closer, love it. And your breath, breathing out, out and out, out. Last one each side, and there, and bring both legs up. Bend your knees down, rest your head, set one foot down, set the other foot down. Let's stretch your hip flexors now. We've done a lot for your hamstrings. Open your feet just to that inner hip width apart. Make sure you're planted firm. We're in the same position that we started class in with the pelvic curl. So let's take one. Draw in your abdominals. Start to lift with the back side of your legs. We've got this beautiful straight line we're shooting for, not too high, a little lower, right there. So you think of zipping bottom ribs to the top of your pelvis. Take one leg up to tabletop now, a little deeper than 90 degrees. Well, it is 90 in your hip, but sorry, your shin shouldn't be parallel to the floor. It should be a little past. And this is the shoulder bridge prep. We tap down, exhale, lift, and tap, and lift, and tap, and lift, and inhale, exhale. No movement is our goal in the trunk. This is really full body integrating. And two more. Tap and lift. Love you saying so. Lift it on your other leg. At the bottom, we'll set your foot down. Notice if you need to make any of those adjustments. Come back to that great position before you switch sides. And we'll tap this one. Tap, exhale, lift, and tap. And lift a little lower, just to bias again, a little more towards that posteriorly tilt, that tucked pelvis so your back doesn't arch. And you might feel one side a little harder than the other side. Totally normal. Let's go, just 3, 2, 1. Catch your leg up, carefully set it down, readjust one more time, and then start to peel down your back. Get this nice length through and come to neutral. Okay, let's roll to your side now. You'll line your body up with the front edge of your mat and lay all the way down. Your bottom arm can stretch overhead. Because we're running out of room, I'm going to just pull my friend. Okay, I love to use the front edge as your reference point. So your hand, your head, your shoulders, our ribs are going to come back a little for you. Good, the pelvis, everything's that same distance away from your mat line. This is for your obliques now. So we're doing a side lift. We'll take an inhale. Exhale, tilt your pelvis and float your legs up. Boom. And lengthen your waist. Toes just hover. Exhale. It's all from here to here. And lengthening. Exhale, here to here. If you have a strong back, this is going to be very challenging to keep biasing towards that tucked position, that posterior tilt in your pelvis, so that we're recruiting more obliques and less of your back. If you do feel your back, it wouldn't be wrong for your legs to be a little in front of you. I'm going to move your hip back a smidge. Make sure your trunk is still straight if you do that. And then lift up. easier to try and get more abdominals. Exhale. You can feel this bottom waistline also smashing when your legs come up, a little hover or less pressure as your legs lower down. We'll do 2 and a 1. Lengthen your legs out long. Take this arm overhead for a quick side stretch. For a lot of us, we'll think the ribs keep drawing back and the hip forward. For most people, it's going to be the opposite. We're naturally very curved in how we spend a lot of our day. So this is a great place to kind of start to feel those moving back towards a neutral line. That'll help for this next exercise. Come up onto your elbow. And you can stay facing side. We'll do a side kick for this one. Use your mat again, find the straight line, and then come hand behind your head. The position of your elbow is very important for this one. If you go down too far, if it's too far away from you, you can see you'll totally collapse on this bottom side. If you come in way too close, your shoulder is going to be hiking up into your ear. So we'll want to find a position maybe right in between where you can, number 1, stay lifted on this supporting side. This is where it's at. And your shoulders look good. I love how you're stabilizing. We'll float your top leg up in line with your hip. Don't let anything in this region move. The leg, don't let it distract you. We'll kick it forward. 1, 2, point your foot back. 1, 2, flex forward. 2 times, point, go back. 2 times, and exhale. Exhale, point, inhale. Inhale, flex, exhale. Exhale, point, inhale. Inhale, this region staying nice and still. I love it. It's okay if your chest needs to adapt a little, especially if you have long legs. You might need to counterbalance, but just make sure it's not coming from your low back or your pelvis. Flex front, further, point, back. Good time to check and notice if we started to drop, and back. 1 more to the front, point 1 more back. Come in line. Set your legs down. Let's push up to seated. Bend your knees and just give yourself a nice stretch. Reach that arm overhead and you can have a nice lengthened side that was just working so hard to stabilize. Easy transition. Swing your feet around to the other side. We'll lay down and do it again, starting with the side lift. Palm up towards the ceiling. We'll again use that nice straight edge of your mat. Move your hips back towards me a little. And your feet can come just a little in front. She knows her body, so her feet are starting a little front. You can start from a straight line if you're not getting into your back. And then don't be afraid, really use this front arm if you need to keep you from rocking on your hips. Draw the ribs back like we talked about. And keep the hip bone forward. So you're looking that your 2 hip bones are in a straight line. We're taking a big breath in. As we exhale, bring the hip towards your bottom rib. Inhale, hover, lengthen that side. Exhale, a little tilt. Inhale, hover. And. You may or may not have an actual space underneath, but you do want to notice the pressure. More pressure, less pressure. When the legs are up more, legs down a little less. And pull this a little bit more, not rocking back. Think hip to bottom rib. Cue the front. Always talking to the front side of your body. Why do we care? Because your back will do the same movement too. We just want to be careful that we're not overworking one side, creating imbalance. And since most of us are tight in our backs, we want to talk more to our obliques in the front so they can get stronger. Let's do 1 more up. Lengthen yourself down. Take this arm overhead and give yourself a quick side stretch or lengthening that top side. Let's go into the side kick. A little more stability, but still working that same muscle groups. We'll come onto your elbow. How she is on her forearm is a great modification if you're feeling not stable in your shoulder, but if we can do it, the exercise, we want to get it on the elbow because we'll get a lot more challenge for the core. So start lifting up, placing it right where you can maintain the glove. I can feel her ribs pulling off my hand. You can even do that to yourself with your top hand if you're not sure. You can feel that lift from here. A little forward with the hip. There, now float your top leg up. And we're ready to go. We go front with the flex, further point, back, a little further, flex, front, a little further, point, back, a little further, and inhale. Both things, stretch, stretch, point, reach, reach, and keep it lifting, yes. The leg is such a distraction from this. Don't forget to check back. It's natural to sink if you don't pay attention. And back. Keeping it so still, pelvis. And think a lot of abs as the leg goes back. And one more to your front. One more to your back. And bring your legs right in line. Set it down, press yourself up to sitting. You can just bend your knees and reach that arm up overhead. Stretch out the side that just worked so hard. It's also going to get a little of your lats too that will help stabilizing your shoulder in that exercise. Let's come on to all fours now. We'll rotate your hands right underneath your shoulders. We'll set your knees underneath your hips and get your back nice and straight. We're starting with, I'm picking a hair off, don't worry about it. We're starting with a cat stretch. So this is different from a cat-cow in yoga. We want to isolate two different sections of your back. So I'm going to have you lift your head just a little higher. There. We'll take a big breath in. As you exhale, the low back is going to round. Round as much as you can. You can try and think of lifting your abs up away from the floor. Try and take it a little further, a little further, a little further. And the upper back, the pelvis can just respond to this curve. Come back to neutral. And let's go in the upper back the other direction. Inhale, extend your upper back. Feel your chest pushing forward through your shoulders. And come back to neutral. Exhale, round the lower back. Lift up with your abs. Big scoop. So this part is maxing out the stretch. I love that the upper, the lower, just responding to that. And then inhale. Keep everything from your ribs down very still. Work the upper back in extension. And neutral. This makes it a little bit more work than just a stretch. But it's working the parts of your body that don't naturally want to go this direction. Low back, very challenging to round. Upper back, very challenging to extend. So again, we're isolating it to find a little bit more balance. Round, 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 round. Nice. She's getting more range with each one, but it's coming from the right place, which I love. And go to one more of each. Inhale and exhaling forward, ribs gliding forward. Now come to your most neutral position. Have your head just a little higher in neutral. Abs are really sandwiching. You're feeling that support here. There's no change in your trunk. Take one leg back. Tuck the toes. And we lost a little of the hip there. Just maybe a little wider if you feel that hip dipping. Inhale. Exhale, send your other leg back. And we should be in nice plank position. Lift your head a little. Yes, which also pulled her up out of her shoulders a little. Push up away from my finger slightly here. Now, I don't want to see anything in this region move. She'll bend one knee, pull it in. Inhale, set it back. Other side. Set it back and set it back and set it back and set it back. You can slow it down a little. And back. And there we go. If you slow it down just slightly, you can feel those changes. If anything is starting to move, you'll notice I'm liking it better already. And good. 2 more each side. Pull. Extend. Exhale. Pull. Extend. 1 more pull. Extend. She evens out her sides. From here, bend one knee. Bend the other knee. Rest back. Give yourself a quick moment to come off of your wrists. Okay, let's do some back extension now. Get the back side of your body working a little more. So you'll come onto your forearms. Elbows will come under your shoulders. Interlace your hands. And you'll start in a nice extended position in your back. Your eyes can be straight in front of you. You might not have as much range as Alicia has. She's very flexible in her back, but lift up as far as you can so it is a nice continuous curve for your back. From here, float your legs up like she has as far as your hip extensors allow, your hamstrings, your glutes allow. If you feel yourself dumping in your low back, find a little more abdominals before we start going. We'll take one foot, kick it in, we'll go boom, boom, leg switch, and other leg, boom, boom, leg switch, boom, boom, and switch, boom, boom, and switch. 2 pulses, 2 pulses. We'll inhale, 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 exhale, 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 exhale. Inhale both sides, exhale both sides. Inhale both sides, and exhale both sides. And keep that lifting. So easy to start to look down. Check yourself. And find a little inner thighs and can help if your knees start to go wide. There's always ways we can make this work even deeper, even more challenging. And boom, and boom, and boom, and boom. Let's switch it out for 3 more, 2 more, 1 more. Send both legs out straight. Now challenge, keep them hovering. Lay your body down, take your head to one side. Bring your hands behind you. Now palms will go up towards the ceiling, and you can interlace your hands as high up your back as you can. But number 1, I want your elbows either to touch the mat if you have that range, or attempt to touch the mat if you don't. Your legs still floating, so the back side is still working. Core is still working. This is double leg kick. Both legs bend in. 1, 2, 3. We extend the legs, extend your back. You flip your palms so now they're facing towards you. Head to the other side. Bend the arms, palms up again. 3 kicks. 1, 2, 3. Inhale, stretch. And switch sides. And 1, 2, 3. Inhale, lengthen. Think the length more important than the height on this one. And switch. And inhale. Go for the elbows down here. 1, 2, 3. Inhale, stretch. Other side. And kick. 1, 2, 3. Inhale, lengthen. 1 more each side. Kick. 2, 3. Inhale to stretch. Last one. 1, 2, 3. Inhale to stretch. And lower your legs. Gently set your chest down. You can bend your arms now so that your hands come under your shoulders. Start to draw your abdominals up and push yourself back into a nice rest position. You can imagine here your tailbone starts to get a little heavier on your heels, the low back really opening up. Come back to your breath. It's a lot of back work. one more breath for yourself. And from here, slowly roll yourself back up. You can come back to standing, and we'll come back to our roll down that we started our session with. So this is the first thing we did to assess where your body was. Notice if you felt anything at the beginning. Check back in with it now. Inhale. Exhale, let yourself roll down. Inhale. Get your abs to help draw you back to standing. Open the chest. You feel so much more balanced. Rolling down. Your body heat. I know that's changed. And take it back up. And nice and open. Let's do one more. Breathe in. And exhale, rolling down. Using this as your cool down. And take it back up. All right, Lisa, nice work today. Thank you for joining us at home. We hope you feel amazing after this workout. If you want to check out our other videos, we have all different types that we are posting, and we hope you'll join us again soon.